It finally happened, after months of silence. After endless subliminal and cryptic bars, Kendrick Lamar just dropped a new diss, and the entire rap world has exploded. Within minutes, hashtags like hashtag Drake vs Kendrick, hashtag Rap War Reloaded, and hashtag The Crown is Bleeding were trending worldwide. Fans are calling it the most brutal lyrical attack since Pusha T exposed Drake's secret son. The internet is in shock. Kendrick didn't hold back. He named names, dropped timestamps, exposed conversations, and even referenced the OVO vault, a phrase that has the entire hip-hop industry whispering about hidden evidence that could end Drake's career. Drake's camp is reportedly scrambling right now, deleting tweets, locking accounts, and trying to contain what insiders are calling a total image collapse. But it's not just the lyrics, it's what Kendrick implied. Hidden references, coded verses, and what fans claim are actual audio samples from Drake's own unreleased sessions. Nobody can tell if they're real or line-enhanced, but one thing's certain: this isn't just music anymore. It's war. Music insiders are saying Kendrick's diss is career-ending, and leaked text messages from producers suggest Drake's team was blindsided. One message allegedly read, "He used the files. He really used them." And now, fans are waiting, terrified and thrilled, for Drake's next move. Because if this war continues, and all signs say it will, we might be watching the downfall of one of hip-hop's biggest icons in real time. For years, fans have waited for this moment, that unmistakable rumble in the distance, when two giants of modern hip-hop finally step into the same arena and drop all pretense of peace. The feud between Kendrick Lamar and Drake has never been clean or simple. It's been a decade-long chess game played through lyrics, interviews, and calculated silence. But this week, that silence ended with the drop of Kendrick's newest diss, a track that already has the industry on its knees to understand how we got here. You have to rewind to where it all began, back to 2013. When Kendrick delivered his now legendary verse on Control. That was the spark that turned friendly competition into Cold War. He didn't just name-drop Drake. He declared himself better than everyone. That verse rewired the culture overnight. Suddenly, every rapper had to pick a side: Team Drake, the commercial powerhouse, or Team Kendrick, the uncompromising lyricist with a poet's edge and a soldier's heart. Drake laughed it off publicly. He told interviews that Kendrick's doing what rappers are supposed to do. But insiders said that behind closed doors, he was furious. Studio engineers who worked on Drake's sessions in Toronto whispered that he'd started rewriting entire verses to one-up Kendrick lines that never made the final albums, but were circulated quietly among industry producers. As ghost warnings, for a while, things cooled. Drake climbed the charts. Kendrick collected Pulitzers. They pretended mutual respect while throwing a blue nail sharp enough to draw blood. But then came 2023, the year everything started to unravel. It began with a mysterious tweet from a producer known only as @NV Music Leaks. It said, "The OVO vault isn't as private as they think." Nobody paid much attention at first, until 3 months later, an unreleased Drake snippet leaked onto Reddit, a rough demo where he rapped, "They say the king from Compton fell asleep in the storm, but I don't lose sleep over lowercase l's no more." Fans immediately recognized it as a jab at Kendrick. Within hours, the snippet vanished. DMCA takedowns, copyright strikes, the usual digital cleanup. But Kendrick had already seen it. A close associate from Top Dog Entertainment told an underground podcast that Kendrick's reaction was ice cold. He didn't rage. He didn't tweet. He just nodded and said, "So we're still doing this." That's when the studio lockdowns began. Multiple collaborators confirmed that Kendrick had been recording in total silence. No leaks, no features. Just notebooks full of what one engineer described as venom. He was crafting something deliberately, not a freestyle. Not a random diss, but a declaration. Drake, meanwhile, had been facing his own storm. Whisper campaigns about host writing resurfaced, fueled by a new generation of fans digging through old reference tracks. Pusha T's story of Adidas had been a wound that never fully healed. And the internet was sensing blood again. Then, 3 weeks ago, everything changed. An anonymous SoundCloud account uploaded a 15-second clip titled The Warning. It featured Kendrick's unmistakable voice saying, "The boy been playing God with the wrong scriptures." That single line detonated across Twitter like a bomb. The post was deleted minutes later, but screenshots spread instantly. Fans started counting syllables, decoding wordplay, guessing which biblical metaphors Kendrick might be weaponizing next. Within days, hip-hop blogs began reporting that major producers, including names quietly affiliated with both artists, had been called into private sessions. Some said Drake was preparing his own responsa preemptively. Others claimed he didn't believe Kendrick would actually release anything. Then, on a quiet Thursday night, Kendrick dropped it. No promo, no warning, no announcement. Just a tweet, midnight. For the culture, the track hit streaming platforms like an airstrike. The title, The Heart Part 6. From the first bar, it was clear this wasn't just another lyrical exercise, it was an execution. I gave the boy a decade to prepare his sermon per. Now, I'm back in the pulpit with the receipts of his sermons. He called me his brother. Then sold my name in his streams, that's a Judas, in OVO robes, disguised as a king. Fans immediately noticed how surgical it was. Not messy, not emotional, but calculated. Every bar landed like a coded confession. In the second verse, Kendrick dropped what sounded like a direct reference to the now infamous OVO vault. All your drafts on hard drives with borrowed souls. Call it ghostwriting or possession. Same story, different scrolls. The internet lost its mind within 30 minutes. The Heart Part 6 racked up 5 million plays. Drake's name trended in 47 countries. But what truly broke the timeline was the third verse, a blistering crescendo where Kendrick claimed to have heard the tapes. He rapped, "I heard the sessions with the reference lines per. The ones that never made daylight because they weren't yours to sign." And then came the line that stopped everything. "You used the vault, but the vault's mine now." That's when things turned apocalyptic. Used the vault. What did that mean? Was Kendrick confirming he had access to Drake's private recordings? A whistleblower? A hacker? Or was it metaphorical? Theories exploded across Reddit and YouTube. Some fans claimed the beat's background sample included distorted snippets from Drake's unreleased tracks, subtly proving Kendrick's claim. Others swore the voice layers actually contained Drake's own vocals. Flipped and re-engineered into the diss, music producers dissected the sonics like crime scene investigators. Twitter threads broke down tempo shifts and metadata timestamps. One user posted, "He's literally sampling Drake's leaks." This isn't a diss, it's a digital hijacking. The fallout was immediate. Drake's longtime producer, 40, allegedly went offline. OVO affiliates locked their accounts. And in the most bizarre twist, Spotify briefly flagged the song for copyright ambiguity, then reinstated it, fueling speculation that Drake's team had filed a complaint. Meanwhile, Kendrick was silent. No interviews, no tweets. Just that one track echoing across every corner of the internet. Journalists scrambled to get reactions. An anonymous source close to Drake told Complex, "He's furious. He's not sleeping. He's calling everyone." There's talk of a response, something nuclear. But according to another insider, Kendrick's move was only phase 1. That same source hinted, "He's got 3 versions ready. Each one gets darker. And so, the stage is set. Because while Drake scrambles behind closed doors, Kendrick's diss has already transcended hip-hop. It's now a digital war spilling into memes, leaks, and late-night studio conspiracies. The fans aren't just spectators anymore. They're detectives, soldiers, and believers in whatever truth drops next. But as one anonymous engineer said in a now-viral comment, the real bomb isn't in the lyrics. It's in the files. What files? Whose hands are they in? And what happens when they finally leak? That's what brings us to the breaking point. The major conflict and first twist, where Drake's retaliation collides with Kendrick's secret weapon, and the hip-hop world starts to fracture in real time. The world of hip-hop didn't even have time to breathe before Drake struck back. Just 48 hours after Kendrick's track detonated across the internet, Drake broke his silence, not with a tweet, not with a statement, but with something far more chilling. A surprise release titled "The Crown Never Cracked." At exactly 12:01 a.m., the song dropped exclusively on his SoundCloud under the OVO imprint, then spread to streaming platforms within minutes. The cover art: a shattered crown made of glass, dripping with black ink. No credits, no hashtags, no marketing. Just a simple description that read, "You wanted the king. You got him." From the opening bar, it was clear Drake wasn't holding back. His tone wasn't defensive. It was furious. You think you, the savior, but you preaching to thieves? You talk about ghosts. Boy, I'm haunting your streams. It wasn't just a response. It was a declaration of war. Drake mocked Kendrick's Pulitzer, his quiet lifestyle, even his fan base, painting them as cult followers, hypnotized by a false prophet. But halfway through the track, his flow darkened. The beat slowed to a sinister crawl, and Drake dropped the line that made every listener freeze. "You say the vault's yours? Funny. I own the locks. Check the timestamps. I've been living in your Dropbox." That lyric lit the internet on fire. Was Drake implying that he had hacked Kendrick? Or was he claiming that he'd been watching this whole time, tracking every move? Within hours, Reddit threads popped up analyzing every syllable. Some tech-savvy fans claimed to find faint Morse code patterns hidden in the beat's hi-hat rhythm when decoded. It spelled, "He took the files." It didn't take long for theramores to start flying. One anonymous account, ALLEGEDLY, belonging to a member of Kendrick's production team, tweeted and deleted, "He's bluffing. The files he has aren't the real ones." Another claimed Drake's diss included actual audio from unreleased Kendrick sessions flipped, distorted, and embedded in the background. When sound engineers broke the track apart, they found what they described as low frequency fragments resembling reversed samples from DAMN. The entire rap internet exploded. Was Drake doing what Kendrick had accused him of, using stolen material as ammunition? Or was this some kind of deeper trap, a way to bait Kendrick into releasing something worse? Within hours of its release, The Crown Never Cracked hit 50 million streams. It was trending on every platform. But beneath the surface, things were starting to crack, not just in the fan base, but inside the industry itself. Producers started choosing sides. Metro Boomin posted a cryptic story. "Some battles don't need beats, they need truth." TDE's President Punch tweeted, "If you poke a lion long enough, don't be shocked when he roars." Meanwhile, inside OVU, chaos reigned. One insider messaged a journalist privately, "He's not sleeping. He's calling everyone, trying to find out who sent the files to Kendrick." Wait, files. That word resurfaced again, the same one from Kendrick's song, The Vault. The files. Everyone was now convinced both rappers were sitting on something nuclear, unreleased material. Private recordings or even legal evidence that could destroy reputations. But no one knew which side had the real bomb. Then came the first twist. At 3:17 a.m., hours after Drake's track went live. A mysterious YouTube video surfaced titled Project Omega, Audio 1. The channel had 0 subscribers. The thumbnail was a single burning microphone. When viewers clicked play, what they heard made jaws drop. It was a conversation, muffled but unmistakable, between 2 men. Voice 1. Drake, he's bluffing. The clip's fake. Voice 2 unknown. What if it's not? What if he really got it from your engineer? Voice 1. Then we leak his. The clip was only 14 seconds long before it disappeared. But thousands had already downloaded it. Fans lost their minds. Was this a deepfake? Or an actual recording from inside OVO Studios? Audio experts quickly weighed in. Some claimed the voices matched perfectly waveform. Analysis showed a 96% vocal signature match with Drake. Others argued it was doctored. But what mattered wasn't proof. It was panic. Because just hours later, Kendrick's response appeared. A single Instagram story. Black background. White text, you leak 1, I drop 3. And that was it. No caption. No hashtags. Just a cold promise. The internet went nuclear. Podcasters speculated that Kendrick had recordings of private conversations between Drake and his team. Anonymous insiders claimed that the 3 referred to songs unreleased. Disc records so potent they'd erase Drake's credibility permanently. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, the labels were panicking. Both artists were signed under parent companies terrified of legal fallout. Emails leaked showing label execs begging them to stand down before irreversible damage. But neither side blinked 2 nights later. A new post surfaced on Reddit. A screenshot of an iTunes pre-release listing titled The Heart Part 7, pending. The metadata listed TDE PG long emergency upload. Fans flooded the thread. But within minutes, it was deleted. The user who posted it vanished. People started noticing patterns. Drake and Kendrick were posting cryptic numbers and captions, matching dates and hours. Analysts believed they were communicating in code, each release triggering a response in a private sequence. Some even claimed this was part of a hidden 3-phase rollout. A modern rap Cold War being documented in real time. Then, just when the hysteria peaked, the music industry itself began to fracture. Streaming platforms started quietly editing metadata, removing producer credits from both artists' pages. Spotify playlists disappeared. Apple Music briefly glitched, showing Kendrick's The Heart Part 6 with a red warning tag. Content under investigation. That was when fans realized this wasn't just about music anymore. Something was happening behind the scenes, according to one leak from a music rights management system. A mysterious company had filed ownership claims on both Drake's and Kendrick's new tracks under the same name, Project Omega Holdings. Nobody had ever heard of it before, but legal experts noticed that both claims were filed at the exact same minute. It didn't make sense unless someone, somewhere, was orchestrating both sides. Suddenly, theories exploded. What if this entire feud wasn't spontaneous? What if it was engineered, not by Drake or Kendrick, but by an entity controlling both? A label? A hacker group? Or something bigger? A coordinated industry stunt to manipulate streaming algorithms and public perception. But then another file leaked, this time from inside an OVO cloud archive. It was a photo of a whiteboard. Scribbled across it were the words, Crown WAR Stage 2, Retaliate Publicly. Underneath it, Stage 3, Expose Internals. The internet collectively gasped. Was this proof that Drake's team had planned a crown war all along? Or was it part of something even larger? A psychological war for dominance between the 2 most influential rappers alive? No one knew, but one thing was certain. The next move belonged to Kendrick. Because now, everyone was asking the same question. If Drake's crown never cracked, was just retaliation? What exactly was Kendrick about to expose in Stage 3? And if the pattern held, it meant his next drop, Theramort Heart Part 7, wouldn't just end the battle. It would end someone's career. The countdown had begun. The countdown ended not with a whisper, but with a THUNDER-CLAP. At exactly midnight, Kendrick Lamar's verified profile went live with no warning. There was no promo, no teaser, no announcement, just a plain black thumbnail and a title that froze the entire internet. The Heart Part 7. The upload description was empty, except for 3 words: Stage 3, Expose. Within the first minute, the track had over 1 million plays. Within 10 minutes, it was trending across every platform. By the first hour, it had already been called the most dangerous rap song ever released. From the first line, everyone knew this wasn't just music, it was an attack, a confession, and a revelation rolled into one. This ain't rap beef. This a system glitch. I've seen the codes behind your crown. It's counterfeit. The beat was minimal, haunting, metallic, pulsing like a heart monitor. As Kendrick's voice cut through, each bar felt like it was pried from the walls of an underground bunker. The second verse took it nuclear. They fed you ghosts and gave you scripts. Now your empire's a deepfake built on hits. I got the tapes. I got the data, OVOs run by the same operator. That line made everyone stop. The same operator. Within minutes, the conspiracy machine ignited. Reddit threads exploded. Twitter users began analyzing every word, every waveform. Producers ripped apart the instrumental frequencies and claimed that Kendrick had hidden binary data inside. The song's bass pattern, and when decoded, it formed the phrase, Project Omega Master Key. The same phrase that had appeared on those mysterious leaked ownership filings. That's when it clicked. Kendrick wasn't just responding to Drake. He was exposing something larger, something that seemed to tie the two together. Midway through the song, the beat dropped into silence. Then Kendrick whispered, low and chilling. Kendrick whispered, low and chilling. Ask your boss about Omega. Ask who signed the contracts. Ask who owns your masters and your name. Then the beat snapped back, and the track erupted into chaos. He didn't just go after Drake anymore. He named companies, agencies, people, universal ghosts. Sony hands in the mix, I'm not beefing with you. I'm freeing you from tricks. They built a file on every verse you wrote, sold your soul in an algorithm. Quote. Fans were speechless. For the first time, it felt like Kendrick wasn't just battling Drake, he was dismantling the entire machine behind the rap industry. And in the third verse, he went further than anyone thought possible. That OVO vault you brag about. I cracked that years ago. I left a copy in Iceland. In case the story grows, they said you, the boy. But the boy been cloned. Same voice, same tone. Different phone. The Iceland line sent the world spiraling again. It was the same location tied to earlier leaks about Project Omega Holdings. Could it be real? Did Kendrick actually uncover something global? Some hidden corporate operation behind music distribution itself? Within an hour, dozens of YouTubers uploaded breakdowns. Digital sleuths discovered that when you slowed down the outro of The Heart Part 7, you could hear faint background voices like security chatter, studio recordings, and, faintly, Drake's voice saying, "Don't drop it. They'll shut everything down." Producers confirmed it wasn't a sample from any known song. It was raw, unfiltered, and terrifyingly real. The internet lost control. Hashtags like hashtag the Omega Files, hashtag Ova Deepfake, and hashtag Drake Cloned trended simultaneously. One user wrote, "He didn't diss him, he declassified him." Even verified artists couldn't stay silent. J. Cole tweeted, then deleted, "Y'all don't realize how deep this runs." The next morning, Every news outlet scrambled to cover the chaos. CNN called it the most consequential rap feud in history. The New York Times published an emergency op titled, "Did Kendrick Lamar just blow the whistle on the music industry?" Meanwhile, Drake disappeared from the internet. His socials went dark. His team refused to comment. But fans noticed something strange. His official Spotify page briefly glitched, displaying the message: "This artist's content is temporarily unavailable due to security review." That was the breaking point. Even casual listeners who dismissed the feud as publicity started to panic. On Reddit, users shared screenshots of emails from record labels referencing a containment protocol and asset recovery. Others reported that YouTube automatically took down mirrored uploads of the Heart Part 7, citing national digital security compliance. National, that single word changed everything. People began to believe this wasn't just about 12/9. My only lipstick, Ruby Kiss, only Ruby Kiss. Only Ruby Kiss has the luxurious. Sunsea Kit has the luxury you, Scylla mode. And leave, Scylla mode, Slice kill it. Calcude, Calamode Sigid, my succant Calamode, lever to you. That lie sieve, my lever, so I mulai mode. My select, we salad, Persida cat, with some mode by we call it. I so love it so lie we sakad I can psyche liapica get it to be sex it to me as subcotica sisilix. It's get it to be to live I sickos and testaments is it reglan did I be the music that there was an actual operation, trying to silence Kendrick's message, and then, as if scripted for a movie, another leak surfaced, this time from deep within an audio engineering forum. A screenshot of an email allegedly sent from an internal Project Omega server read, "Phase 4 compromised. Primary source transmitted unauthorized data. Activate containment. Was Kendrick the primary source?" It didn't matter whether it was real. The world believed it. Within hours, rumors spread that government agencies had contacted Kendrick's label. Some even claimed his home studio was raided, though no official report confirmed it. Fans flooded his social media demanding proof he was okay. That night, the only update came from his PG Long account. You can't raid the truth. The internet erupted again. Meanwhile, ghost accounts began leaking fragments of files allegedly pulled from the OVO vault. One contained a folder named Omega_AI_model_V3, which referenced synthetic vocal replication. That's when fans connected the dots. Drake's recent songs had sounded eerily robotic, emotionless, too clean. Was Kendrick implying that Drake wasn't even recording some of his own vocals anymore? That the OVO vault was full of AI-constructed material, ghost-written by machines. Whether true or not, the theory spread faster than fact. Every video essayist, every podcast, every reaction channel exploded with proof. Slowed down vocals. Metadata inconsistencies. The uncanny smoothness of Drake's latest verses. The timing was too perfect, and through all of it, Kendrick stayed silent. He didn't post a single thing after dropping the Heart Part 7. He didn't respond to interviews. He didn't tweet. He simply disappeared, letting the world drown in the chaos he unleashed. Then came the most haunting twist of all at 11:47 p.m., the same cursed timestamp from the Omega. Archives a post appeared on Kendrick's official YouTube page. It wasn't a new song. It was a black screen with one line of white text. They told him to play God. I showed him who wrote the script. And then, silence. The video ended with a soft flicker, a candle flame reflected in glass, and what sounded like faint digital static forming the words, "Phase 4 loading." That was when even skeptics realized this war was far from over, because this wasn't about rap beef anymore. This was about control of the narrative of the music, of reality itself. Kendrick Lamar hadn't just challenged Drake, he'd challenged the entire system that built him. And the worst part? Everyone from fans to journalists to the industry itself knew deep down that the next phase, Phase 4, wasn't going to be a song. It was going to be something much, much bigger. Something that could change everything we know about hip-hop. And maybe even about who's really running it. The moment Kendrick's Heart Part 7 hit, the internet stopped being a forum for debate. It became a war zone. Comment sections, Twitter threads, and Reddit boards all turned into battlefields of theories, fear, and chaos. Within an hour, this wasn't just hip-hop news. It was global news. Twitter trended with a new wave of hashtags. Hashtag Phase 4. Hashtag The Omega Files. Hashtag Drake cloned. And, perhaps the most unsettling, #Free Kendrick, at first. Fans thought the last tag was just typical fan hysteria. Then reporters started claiming that Kendrick's location was unknown. TMZ and XXL both reported heightened security activity around PG Lang's Los Angeles office. A journalist from Rolling Stone said she received an anonymous message reading, "They silenced him before he could release the next one." Within minutes, Kendrick's official website went offline. Every music outlet crashed under traffic spikes. Spotify wiped his newest upload. Apple Music replaced the Heart Part 7 with an error page reading, "Content unavailable, security review in progress." And yet, fragments of the song, snippets, remixes, reversed instrumentals began multiplying across the internet faster than any platform could contain them. TikTokers were dancing to the beat, while tech-savvy fans claimed that slowing the tempo by 1.47% revealed hidden binary code in the bass line. The code, according to them, translated to "Phase 4 lives in the loop." The entire internet went insane. Meanwhile, celebrities and rappers began breaking their silence. J. Cole posted a cryptic story. "Don't ask me what I know. Just pray for the art," Pusha T tweeted. "Told y'all years ago, some truths don't need hooks." Even Kanye West, who had been radio silent for months, posted a candle emoji followed by, he warned them. But the most shocking reaction came from Drake himself, or at least from someone claiming to be him. At 3 a.m., a mysterious post appeared on Drake's verified Instagram account. It was just a photo of an empty studio chair, captioned, "He's not who you think he is." The post vanished 10 minutes later. Some said it was a hack. Others swore it was intentional. And then chaos went global. Major media outlets scrambled for control. CNN ran an emergency segment titled, "Digital Warfare in the Music Industry." Fox News called Kendrick's diss a potential national threat. Conspiracy channels claimed Kendrick had uncovered a multinational operation using music platforms to collect listener data through subliminal sound frequencies. And, just as people began dismissing it all as hysteria, a verified account belonging to an international cybersecurity firm posted this statement: "We can confirm unusual cross-server communication between major streaming services. It's unclear if it's a technical anomaly or intentional." That's all it took. Overnight, the conversation transformed from rap beef to mass panic. Fans began deleting streaming apps, claiming they didn't trust what was hidden in the sound. Musicians publicly demanded to know what Project Omega was. Even politicians started weighing in, a senator tweeted, "If there's corporate collusion behind digital content, we will find it." But as the world screamed for answers, an eerie calm fell over Los Angeles. A live drone feed captured dozens of black SUVs surrounding a studio rumored to belong to PG Lang. The footage, briefly live-streamed on YouTube, was abruptly cut off, but not before viewers claimed they saw a hooded figure leaving through a side exit, escorted by armed men. That was all it took for the Free Kendrick movement to explode. Fans marched outside streaming headquarters, holding candles, blasting the Heart Part 7 through megaphones. One sign read, "If the system owns the sound, then we're the silence." And in the middle of this chaos, Drake vanished. His team released one vague statement. Through OVO's official page, Drake is safe and focusing on his family. But reporters noted that flights from Toronto to Reykjavik, the same city mentioned in Kendrick's lyrics, had spiked dramatically that morning. Meanwhile, anonymous Phase 4 accounts began posting across Reddit and X. Each had a single message. "The crown is a code." Fans began linking it to the lines from the Heart Part 7 about the crown being counterfeit, claiming it was a metaphor for identity theft, suggesting Kendrick had discovered that many industry figures weren't even real people anymore, but composite AI brands. It sounded insane. Until journalists found a paper trail of ghost-managed social accounts for artists that hadn't posted personally in years. Suddenly, nothing felt impossible. Record labels issued panic statements claiming their artists were safe, active, and accounted for. But then, footage surfaced of a private meeting between executives secretly filmed, posted, and deleted in less than 5 minutes, where one voice said, "We can't stop the file. It's already seeded." The internet was now convinced that Phase 4 wasn't a track. It was an upload. TikTok users claimed they found encrypted fragments, hidden in every re-upload of Kendrick's diss fragments, that, when layered together, supposedly formed a QR code. When scanned, it led to a blank web page, www.thecrownneverexisted.com. The site loaded a single message in white text on a black background. Phase 4 begins when the crown stops spinning. The site went offline seconds later, but screenshots spread everywhere. Now, both artists had disappeared. Their labels were silent. Streaming platforms were on lockdown. Fans begged for clarity, but none came, and so the industry stood frozen, suspended between paranoia and prophecy, because whether Project Omega was real, whether Drake and Kendrick were enemies or collaborators, whether the crown was metaphor or malware, one thing was certain. Something had been set in motion that couldn't be undone, and everyone could feel it. This wasn't the end of a rap beef. It was the beginning of a digital uprising disguised as music. The next file, the final phase, wasn't a song. It was a trigger, and when it dropped, the world would never hear music the same way again. The world was no longer listening to music. It was waiting for a detonation. By now, everyone knew the pattern. Kendrick's moves were never random, never impulsive. Every lyric, every number, every glitch in the beat meant something. And when midnight approached again, that cursed hour where every phase before it had begun, the world held its breath at 11:47 p.m. It happened. A black screen appeared simultaneously on YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify, and even hacked Times Square billboards. No text, no logo. Just a faint flicker, like static, forming a heartbeat. Then, the words appeared, glowing in white. Phase 4. The crown stopped spinning. The feed stayed silent for 8 seconds. Then came the sound, a low hum, layered with reversed vocals and ambient distortion. Fans everywhere recognized it instantly. The hum was the same tone hidden at the end of the Heart Part 7. Then, a voice distorted but unmistakably Drake's spoke through the static. "They told me I was the algorithm." The feed cut to black. Social media detonated. Within seconds, millions of users reported their apps freezing. Some claimed their devices began autoplaying a looping track titled crown_404.mp3. Others said their speakers emitted a faint whisper, repeating, "The king was code." What followed next blurred the line between performance, conspiracy, and breakdown. Anonymous files began appearing across the dark web under the extension CNDL, the same tag that had appeared months earlier in the Omega leaks. Each file was under 47 kilobytes, impossible to open with normal software. Hackers who tried were met with a flashing message. The crown was never real. And then, nothing. Their drives wiped. That same night, Billboard posted a now infamous article titled, "The Death of Music, Phase 4 and the Collapse of Identity." It claimed that leaked metadata from the crown_400 for file linked back to both artists. Recording registries the exact same timestamp, exact same digital signature. If true, it meant the unthinkable. Kendrick and Drake had been using the same production identity. The revelation broke the internet in half. Had they both been victims of Project Omega? Were they even aware that their work was being cross-registered, mixed, remastered, and released by an unseen third entity? Suddenly, everything made sense. The eerily similar tones, overlapping producers, the unexplained synchronicities in their release schedules. The entire feud could have been a carefully scripted illusion orchestrated to keep the world distracted while an algorithm learned from their sound. Their words, their essence. But if that was true, who wrote it? That question haunted the industry as entire archives began vanishing. Streaming catalogs crashed one by one. Thousands of users woke up to find that every song by both artists had been replaced by a single, by L. crownstop.mp4. When opened, the file showed only one image, a dimly lit microphone with two shadows cast behind it. One short, one tall, and a final voice, deep, calm, and chillingly familiar, whispered, "It was never Drake versus Kendrick. It was us versus them." The video glitched, then ended. Governments stepped in. Streaming services went offline for maintenance. Twitter suspended hashtags, referencing Phase 4. But it was too late. Copies of crownstopped.mp4 had already spread to every corner of the internet. Hackers discovered an audio layer beneath the silence, a faint pattern repeating every 47 seconds. When amplified, it revealed coordinates. The coordinates led to a frozen warehouse on the outskirts of Reykjavik, Iceland. Journalists who went there days later found it sealed. But one drone operator caught footage through a cracked window. Rows of glowing servers labeled OMEGA_47 and the center of the room, a glass enclosure with two flickering holograms, one of Drake, one of Kendrick, both performing the Heart Part 7 in perfect sync. The footage went viral before authorities took it down, and now, no one knows what's real anymore. Some believe Drake and Kendrick were both erased and replaced by digital constructs. Others say they orchestrated everything together, a rebellion disguised as rivalry. A way to expose the truth that the music industry itself had become an AI-run simulation long before anyone realized. Whatever the truth is, one fact remains undeniable. Phase 4 ended the idea of authenticity because the last thing to appear on Kendrick's official account before it vanished. Forever was a single message that read, "We were never fighting. We were freeing ourselves," and underneath, in small flickering text, Phase 5. Uploading. Then, total silence. No new posts. No new music. Just the flicker of that same candle emoji lighting up timelines once again. This time, not as a symbol of mourning, but of anticipation. The world waits now. Staring at dark screens, refreshing every minute. Waiting for that next impossible notification to drop. Because if Phase 4 was the death of music, then Phase 5 might just be the birth of something entirely new. Something not made by men, but by the ghosts they created. And when it finally drops, one question will echo louder than any beat. Any verse, any diss, who really wrote the crown? So, what now? The crown has stopped spinning. The music's gone silent. But the questions, they're just getting louder. What really happened between Kendrick Lamar and Drake? Were we watching a feud? Or a revolution? Was Phase 4 a warning about the power we gave to algorithms, or the proof that we were never in control of the music we loved in the first place? Think about it. Every lyric, every timestamp, every upload vanished at the same second. 11:47 p.m. What kind of human timing is that? Every track, every feed, every copy carried the same digital fingerprint. That doesn't sound like a coincidence. That sounds like orchestration. And now we're left staring into the void, waiting for Phase 5. So I want to hear from you, the people who lived through it. Do you think Kendrick and Drake were enemies, or allies trapped in a system built to exploit them both? Was Project Omega a cover-up, a simulation, or something much darker? A test run for the complete digitization of music itself? And most importantly, what happens when Phase 5 uploads? Drop your theories in the comments right now, because the best ones are going to be featured in the next video. If you've seen weird file drops, coded lyrics, or new AI-mimicked vocals that sound too real, send them in. We're collecting every lead, every clip, every trace of this story that they tried to delete. Make sure to like this video if you believe the truth still exists somewhere in the sound. Subscribe and turn on notifications, because the next phase won't wait for a release date. And when it comes, you'll want to be here when it drops. Until then, keep your playlists offline, keep your ears open, and keep the candle burning, because the music isn't gone. It's just watching us now.